This is my review of that time I got reincarnated as a slime. Okay, so this episode was interesting for a couple of reasons. First and foremost being that it didn't star Rimuru, but it actually takes place several years in the past and actually stars Shizu. So, right off the bat, we've got some more information on Shizu, which I'm always happy to see. But, yeah, this episode also kind of does tie into the main story just a little bit, but it also works as its own standalone story, which is probably why they made it a standalone special. But anyway, the episode starts off with two armored heroes, presumably the Grand Wings of Fieldwood or something along those lines. But yeah, I'm presuming that's who they are because it doesn't state outright, but it does state later and imply that they might be them. But anyway, the woman of the two, the guy's dead, but the woman actually manages to use the blood to summon a demon. And his name is Kuro, or at least that's what he goes by for now. I'll get to that a little bit later too. But she summons Kuro and offers him her soul in exchange for his help, and he agrees, but he's only able to provide enough help for 3 days. And he then goes out to hunt people masquerading as demons. More on that in a bit. But anyway, then it cuts to Shizu's part, and she and a bunch of other heroes have been recruited to check out this legend by a minister from Fieldwood who has been telling everybody that a demon has been resurrected and that he plans to retrieve his original body and resurrect. And so far, the only person who was able to defeat him was Orthos, but I'll get to that in a minute. And reveals that they could die and that it could be dangerous, at which point one of the guys leaves and is revealed to actually be a demon himself when one of the guards cuts him down. And it's at this point where Kuro himself shows up and actually states that it would make his job a little bit easier if everybody who is a demon is gathered in one room. And Shizu and him clash a little bit, and it's fought to a standstill mainly because Kuro's arm bursts off and he's revealed to be a demon as well. But his arm bursts off because he actually punches Shizu's mask while they're fighting, and because of Shizu's anti-demon properties, his fist actually explodes off. So yeah, he retreats with a missing arm, and Shizu begins to reflect on her battle with him because she's still recovering. But she begins to reflect about something that Leon Cromwell told her a long time ago about how there was a group of 7 demons, all of which were named after a color, and they are the most powerful demons in existence. And that 3 of them were named after various colors. Well, they were all named after various colors because originality, but one of them was actually named Black, and that's what Kuro means. So Shizu begins to piece together some things in her head. So it's implied that Kuro is indeed Black, the progenitor demon. So yeah, and it is revealed later, but that comes in a bit. It's at this point where she's summoned by a member of the Royal Guard to go down and meet with the minister and the king. And she does, but she goes into the catacombs, and this is where things should start to click in your head. Because then the head of the Royal Guard sits in the throne in the middle and reveals himself to be Orthos, reveals that he was a demon the whole time, and that Orthos never actually stole the demon away, and that he is actually a self-named demon. Which is actually kind of cool, and he almost kills Shizu because Shizu is still recovering and is just barely able to fight him off. But then Black shows up and basically kills everybody in the room, and then he and Shizu get their story straight about how he killed everybody in the room and she killed him, when in fact she wasn't powerful enough to defeat him. And eventually he does go back to the demon realm, which is where we cut back to the end of last week's episode where he was actually spying on Rimuru through his little glass ball. But it's revealed that Rimuru does eventually summon Kuro and rename him Diablo, which is kind of interesting. So eventually that is going to be a story point they're going to be working on, but for right now that doesn't really hold any significance. But that's actually kind of interesting. They not only made a standalone story, but they also made it tie into the main story. That's interesting, and I do enjoy those little bits of world building. So we got to learn a little bit more about Shizu's backstory and all that, and we also got to learn a little more about her, which is cool, and I like that. I don't really get to see that much, and that's kind of cool. I mean, there are some shows that do go into backstory and stuff, but some of them kind of fail at that. I mean, I don't really see all that much, but this show does things well. Let's just leave it at that. It does things well. But yeah, I did enjoy this episode. It was a nice little standalone episode while also being a connecting episode to a recent episode that we had. But yeah, it was interesting and I enjoyed it, and I hope that anybody who wants to just watch this series will appreciate it for what it is. It's a standalone story, but it's not, and it works. I like that. But anyway, yeah. This episode was interesting, and I definitely recommend to watch. You don't have to watch the rest of the series to understand it, but it helps. Because it is a standalone story, but it helps to watch the rest of it. But yeah, I enjoyed it. So if you guys have seen this episode of That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, what do you guys think? Let's get a discussion going in the comments section down below, or over on my Discord server, link in the description. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and also be sure to click all the annotations and the links in the end card for more videos that I have done. And until next time, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace!